the ripple effect is that Abramovich culture, that becomes that's a Chelsea fan culture.
It's become the Chelsea fan culture.
It's becoming that if they kind of get what they want. And actually, Todd Bowley has such a huge decision to make here.
Yeah.
Because he sets the tone for the next 10, 15 years. Hi guys, you're watching a clip from the latest episode of The Ripple Effect. If you want to enjoy the full podcast, you can do so exclusively on Spotify right now. So head over there, follow The Ripple Effect, and if you're feeling very generous, why not give the podcast a 5-star rating? Thanks for watching. Enjoy. So 1 win in the last 6 matches in all competitions. 2
in
goals.
14.
Yep, 2 goals in the last 6 matches.
A lot of draws, though.
A lot of draws, that's true. So when you're talking about the decision being made, the one thing I would say just quickly on that, because obviously we're going to dive into that world of if it actually existed, of him being sacked. My view on it is actually, you either have to back the man or address the situation.
Yeah.
So those are 2 areas that are sort of battling it out. And if you believe in the man enough, you stay with him. But if the situation is grave enough, you need to address the situation. So with Neil Critchley and QPR, we're getting into a relegation battle now.
Right.
You know, this is heavy stuff. So the situation needs to be addressed. My general feeling on it is actually that Graham Potter, they're not going to get relegated, and they're certainly not getting in the Champions League. So I would stick for now, because I think the ripple effect of sacking him drives. Let's get straight into it, actually. Is that so? This Abramovich culture of sacking, it has always been aligned with Abramovich. And
absolutely. If
Abramovich was here, Graham Potter would already be gone. I think if you twist now with him, with a club that, let's be honest, you're not really expecting them to win the Champions League. And again, this is I think is a problem that Chelsea fans have, is that they have brought in Di Matteo and Thomas Tuchel and gone on to win the Champions League. So I think when Potter comes in, they go, oh, this is great because he's reasonable. He's like one of the good guys. We can have a manager who's one of the good guys, not one of those sort of Machiavellian dudes. And but we'll still win the Champions League, or we'll get in the Champions League. Now, none of that is happening. And so, but that feeling of that he has to go now, he doesn't have to go now.
Nothing has to happen because he's not going to get relegated. They're more than far enough away from that.
So they're 11 points from 4th, and they're 11 points from the relegation zone. And let's be honest, like with the amount of money they spend, that's not going to occur. But if they do, if the pressure is too much,
what ripple are you asking me for here?
So what I'm saying is that the ripple effect is that Abramovich culture. That becomes that's a Chelsea fan culture.
It's become the Chelsea fan culture.
It's becoming that if they kind of get what they want. And actually, Todd Bowley has such a huge decision to make here.
Yeah.
Because he sets the tone for the next 10, 15 years. Now, it might get to October and it's not worked out and you've got to make that call then. But to do it now, I think that you not lay the blame on the fans, but to a point, because I guess it's not going well, but if there isn't that feeling from the fan base, and that feeling is deep-rooted because of what they've seen and felt and the ripple effects of changing the manager and getting Champions Leagues, then the burden of that goes on to Chelsea fans. I feel like that is certainly one for me.
So you think that... I understand there is slightly a Chelsea fan implication. My bigger thing is I don't understand why there hasn't been more coverage of the ripple effect of what the Abramovich era did outside of just vibes. So obviously, we talked about the massive amount of debt that was leveraged against the club when he first left. We spoke about all this kind of, I think, a not such good culture that he was building at the club as well. Right. And I think that's the ripple effect of that is they need to unpick a lot of that.
Yes.
Now. And they can't week to week just go, Abramovich again. So it's kind of just become this, let's just rebuild this thing. And I think Graham Potter is part of that rebuild. So this is, in many ways, this is the chickens coming home to roost. This is the ripple effect of Abramovich. This latency that they're now feeling as a club is something that Abramovich was just staving off for years. He was kicking the can down the road and selling his soul in the mirror to the devil or whatever it is. And now these next owners are just reaping the opposite of whatever a benefit is.
But I guess the problem as well is that that ruthless nature worked. You know, in terms of
to an extent.
Yeah, in
To
terms
an
of
extent.
Well, I think it's both worked and really hurt a lot of Chelsea fans in terms of like the Lampard one that really hurt a lot of them.
Stung.
Yeah, because of how it felt. And in the end, it's like winning trophies is cool, but if you win them and it doesn't totally feel right,
At what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost? The cost, obviously,
Of a fantastic payout for Graham Potter first and foremost.
Well, yeah, and this whole team.
Do you think there's part of him that's like,
Do it.
Go on, just
Do it.
just do
Yeah.
it. Because I don't think there's no ripple effect in the fact that he, as a manager, has his reputation hurt, or do you disagree with that?
I don't think he has had his reputation hurt just yet, because I think he could go around with a PowerPoint slide going into any meeting and go, that American was crazy. This thing was mental, what happened there, and I got given this team, right?
Loz is doing the remote
I'm
control.
doing the remote thing. And then look at the results here.
Yeah.
And
I'd love to see you do the weather in the same time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's going to be raining there
and there.
And it's going to go on all bank holiday weekend.
Yeah. My fault. So, and I think he can probably go away. He seems like a humble, smart enough guy who can, rationalize things to someone else. And I think that, therefore, it won't harm his reputation in the footballing world. But I think in the public, you venture into that realm of the managers we were talking about earlier, where you become a certain kind of manager. Oh, does this guy need quite a while?
Yeah.
If we bring this guy in, are we going to be waiting a year, maybe 2, until his effects kick in?
Is there a ripple effect on English managers?
I think there's always a ripple effect on English managers, because they're put into a homogenous set of people, and we'll get onto this later with other English managers.
Of course.
And there's actually so much diversity amongst those managers now, because quite a few of them are differing characters to what they were before, and maybe our expectation of English managers is now different. Also now, because continental managers, so to call them, have begun to align a bit more with what some of the English guys did. So Arteta's a bit more softly spoken, a bit less passionate in the way that you would expect him to be, possibly in a slightly more anglicised way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that too, and maybe also we become a bit more continental, vice versa. So
that's true.
It goes both ways. Graham Potter comes across as the kind of guy who, when he goes on holiday, knows what dishes to order, those kind of things, rather than just going.
I mean, he has been the hipster's choice, and I think that's what's weirdly
that harms
aligning with certain people that don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of hipster scene of football. They're quick to kind of go, see,
mm-hmm.
like you need that gravitas.
But I will say this about the fans' side of it, right? There is very much a prescriptive nature as to how fans should treat this. So I did a video on my own channel about like
Lawrence McKenna, it's called.
What felt it felt very objective. It obviously wasn't. It felt objective, but not once did I sort of mention that fit of Graham Potter at Chelsea. Not once did I mention those vibes. And I think those are important.
Are you working on commission with the word vibes?
No. But you get the feeling and the holistic nature of what is going on at Chelsea seems quite important to the Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
And those guys, despite reputation, are quite a holistic set of fans that go on this kind of not witch doctor type sort of thing, but they're a bit prescriptive like that, where the magic needs to be just so to make the magic work.
Which is actually hilarious. When we're talking about fit of a manager, we kind of know what we're talking about. We're talking about Mourinho, we're talking about Conte, but they don't survive.
No.
no managers. Maybe maybe that maybe links into what Warnock was saying.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 weeks is the way to go.